Good morning. This Saturday morning. We're going to start with Acts 21:40 just to get a couple of details, and then launch into Paul's speech, which is 22 verse 1 all the way through verse 21. So long reading today. And Paul, standing on the steps, motioned with his hand to the people. And when there was a great hush, he addressed them in the Hebrew language. Brothers and fathers, hear the defense that I now make before you. And when they heard that he was addressing them in the Hebrew language, they became even more quiet. And he said, I am a Jew, born in Tarsus in Cilicia, but brought up in this city, educated at the feet of Gamaliel, according to the strict manner of the law of our fathers, being zealous for God, as all of you are to this day. I persecuted this way to the death, binding and delivering to prison both men and women, as the high priest and the whole council of elders can bear me witness. From them I received letters to the brothers, and I journeyed toward Damascus to take those who also were there and bring them in bonds to Jerusalem to be punished. As I was on my way and drew near to Damascus, about noon a great light from heaven suddenly shone around me, and I fell to the ground, and I heard a voice saying, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And I answered, Who are you, Lord? And he said to me, I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom you are persecuting. Now those who were with me saw the light, but did not understand the voice of the one who was speaking to me. And I said, What shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said to me, Rise and go into Damascus, and there you will be told all that is appointed for you to do. And since I could not see because of the brightness of the light, I was led by the hand by those who were with me, and came into Damascus. And one Ananias, a devout man according to the law, well spoken of by all the Jews who lived there, came to me, and standing by me said, Brother Saul, receive your sight. And at that very hour I received my sight and saw him. And he said, The God of our fathers appointed you to know his will, to see the righteous one, and to hear a voice from his mouth. For you will be a witness for him to everyone of what you have seen and heard. And now why do you wait? Rise and be baptized, and wash away your sins, calling on his name. When I returned to Jerusalem and was praying in the temple, I fell into a trance and saw him saying to me, Make haste and get out of Jerusalem quickly, because they will not accept your testimony about me. And I said, Lord, they themselves know that in one synagogue after another I imprisoned and beat those who believed in you. And when the blood of Stephen, your witness, was being shed, I myself was standing by and approving, and watching over the garments of those who killed him. And he said to me, Go, for I will send you far away to the Gentiles. And that's where we'll stop for today. Notice several things. All of this, Paul says, of course, in Hebrew, so the Romans don't know what he's saying. That's going to come up in a day or two. And he sort of tells them his credentials. I am a Jew. I'm from Cilicia, but I was raised here, and I was taught by Gamaliel, who was one of the great liberal rabbi teachers of Jerusalem of that time. He was brought up strictly in the law, and they all know him, and they can talk to the priest who would remember sending him to Damascus with letters to look for Christians who were there. So Paul should be well known in Jerusalem, and they should know that he was a very, very devout, strict follower of the law who sought to punish Christians until Jesus appeared to him and, knocked him off his horse and knocked him down. And great light shone, and this voice said, Who are you? He says, Who are you? And he's blinded for several days, and they lead him into Damascus. And we read all of that several chapters ago. Then Ananias, who's terrified, but obeys the word of the Spirit and comes and heals Paul, and Paul can see again, which is, a good thing. So here we have the same story that Luke has written in chapter 9. Here we have it again from Paul's mouth, but it's exactly the same story. Then it says, he went to Jerusalem and he was praying there, and Jesus said, you need to get out of this town and go somewhere else, and let's take this word to the Gentiles. And Paul's the perfect person because he can, as we see here, he can speak Hebrew and be a Jew with the best of them. He's got great credentials, but at the same time, he's got his Roman citizenship, and he's educated according to Gentile ways as well as Hebrew. So he's kind of, he overlaps with everybody, and everybody he sees he can speak to. I think in our time that's important. There are a lot of people out there that think, oh, you should only watch Christian television and listen to Christian music. And I'm thinking, well, okay, that's good for you, but if you do that only, you're going to get a view of the world that's kind of skewed, especially on a lot of Christian television talk shows and stuff. You're going to hear how the world is so terrible. Well, in many ways it is, but I think that it's good for some of us at least to pay attention to what the world is doing and saying so that we can speak to it. If we only know our particular jargon in our church, then we're not going to be able to reach people outside of the church at all. Now, yesterday I prayed for the meal that we serve to the football team. I don't know if they do this every week or only the first game of the season, but the Newton Conover football team comes to our church and we serve them dinner at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I got them all in there and I said a prayer, and I said to them, if you don't go to a church or don't like the church you go to, come to this one. We'll be happy to see you here and you'll be welcomed. And they're all like, yeah. And I said, and if you're not sleeping at 10 o'clock in the morning, we'd welcome you. And I said, you can even come here. Some people come here to sleep. Kind of a joke. But trying to speak to these football players and say, hey, we're with you. And that's an example of the sort of thing that I think we should do. I don't think we'll see many of them on Sunday morning, but who knows? Maybe all 40 of them will show up, and then we won't know what to do. But if that problem arises, it'll be a good problem for us to have. And I hope that wherever you are, you have a good weekend, a good Saturday, and a good Sunday with your church, and we will see you Monday morning.